with today, we've got Manoj, you're going to give us some updates on Copilot. I will give some updates functionality of Opus Clip really quick, and then we'll wrap us up, and then we'll also talk about the world of DeepSeek and our opinion on it. Welcome to this episode of AI Because. Welcome back. There's been a ton of stuff that's been happening. I'm excited. And kind of, unsure of some things and path to go, but more excited than anything else. So let's kick us off by hearing about what's happening in your world, because I know we don't get as much time in the room together as we would love, at least some of us. Others probably it's like, you know what, we had too much time in the room together. Manoj, I'd love to hear from you first. What's happening in the UK?
Excellent. Yeah. So I think on our side, we have launched our first Copilot course for risk and compliance professional. So that's proud to be the first company in the world to provide that course. It's happening on 25th and 26th of February. The details are on the Risk Spotlight website. So just riskspotlight.com/training in case anybody is interested. But yeah, there's a lot of interest. I think this year is where a lot of organizations, at least in the financial services, they're rolling out Copilot to a large number of users.
Mm-hmm.
So training is going to be one of the big opportunities this year on Copilot. So, we're trying to ride that wave in the risk and compliance world, at
Yeah,
least.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I'm excited for you guys. And I know you had a webinar on some stuff, and you've been actively, marketing and showing different functionality in the AI space as well. That's given you additional bandwidth that you didn't otherwise have. So yeah, cool stuff. Thank you. Greg, what's happening in your part of the world? And I know your day job, you're playing with cows.
My day job has kind of taken over a little bit, but in order to kind of keep up with things, what I've set up is the Chat GTP Task Manager, and so that's kind of working in my favor. On Monday mornings, I get the new or the latest and greatest AI agent news that comes directly into Chat GTP for me. So, I mean, last week it was all the explanation of the new operator agent and how that's working to make people's lives a little bit more simpler. I mean, it's pretty easy to program your operator into ordering your groceries for you for the week, or just keeping track of your expenses. And is it getting up to accounting time? We may be looking forward to using some of those things. This week, the deep research AI agent was kind of outlined a little bit more, and I think all of us will talk on that subject as we move forward today.
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about DeepSeek, or you're talking about deep research
Research, no,
within OpenAI?
Both.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
interesting
Too
what's
much deep
happening right
news.
now, because the door opened, and then it's like everybody else goes, okay, we got to do it now. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing when people start laying their cards down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, what's happening with you?
Well, I'm following both the DeepSeek, those developments, which personally I've made the decision not to use it until it's been thoroughly vetted. But so I've been following that on the one hand, and then on the other are the latest new OpenAI announcements regarding their deep research product. And but the thing is Google, for those of you who don't use Gemini, they've had their own deep research product out for now about a month and a half, I think, and I've been using that. I've used that many times, and so it's just a wonderful approach, because what it does is it combines the chain of thought, right, which is the latest evolution of models,
Hmm.
together with tools so that it can perform action, and actually, so the actions that it's performing is it's combing the web and doing research, right? And so anyway, it's just a powerful combination, and
Yes.
I'm leveraging it a lot.
Yeah, I have not played with that at all.
Mhm.
Um, and but then again, the output that you've gotten from it, you've shared with us
Mhm.
broadly.
Mhm.
And I'm not so much a 8 to 30 page document reader. And so I'm like, it's almost like too much of a good thing, but I prefer summary bullet points on stuff.
Well,
You
well,
have
you
a
know what?
thought, Steve. You have a thought. I see
I,
it.
I
Steve,
definitely,
have a
I
thought.
always have thoughts. I always have thoughts. Well, I usually do. But anyway, no, but you can, even if you don't want to read it all, they do a great job of putting table headings, table of contents, table headings, tables within the document, figures, right?
Mhm.
Charts and everything. And so you can actually, you start off, do a first pass, just look at all the high level stuff, and then you can go in and dive deeper into those areas
It's
that
almost like, when you've got a book when you were a kid and it's got all the pictures in it and stuff.
Mhm.
I just look at the pictures and then wonder whether or not I want to go read what it says about them.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah. And I also used to start magazines from the back. I really don't read magazines anymore, but anybody else
yeah.
do start from the back and work your way to the
I don't
front?
do that. I don't read magazines much anymore because I like more
Yeah, it was back in
more
the day.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day.
yeah.
My world has not, I'm venturing into some, new areas for me. It just expanded functionality. Steve and you, Greg and I have been working on, in Airtable and, stepping into Glide a little bit because my brain goes to what else can this do? My background world has been in developing and access databases. So that's where I'm used to the relational database stuff and that functionality. So for me, it's getting into that space. More comfortable with Opus Clip now. I had a moment of panic when CapCut was, I didn't realize was owned by the same company as TikTok that we talked about last time. And so I've got question marks around using CapCut and I'm going to say my dependency on it. However, it is an easier tool for me, but I will be exploring others because Manoj, I know you like Descript. And so Descript came up in a recent conversation. Actually, I touched base with Josh Finkelstein, Josh's last name. Sorry, Josh, if I butchered your name. He and I connected on reconnected in an intro call. And so I was talking to him about stuff too, and he uses Descript, and I'm like, Manoj does too. So I do need to check that out and the functionality. So I may remove myself from CapCut at some point, but I think I paid for a year, so it'll be a minute before that happens. But anyway, that's what's going on in my world. So with today, we've got Manoj, you're going to give us some updates on Copilot. I will give some updates functionality of Opus Clip really quick, and then we'll wrap us up, and then we'll also talk about the world of DeepSeek and our opinion on that. So it's all you, sir.
Hey, thank you, Michelle. So I want to show some quick updates on what new features have been added recently in Copilot. One of the first feature is on forms. So this has been available for some time, but because it's a useful feature, I wanted to demonstrate this where in Microsoft, you are able to create forms. So if you want to create a survey, for example, then that's where you will use the forms functionality. And one of the functionalities which is available when I click on a new form is that you can now use Copilot, where you can specify what do you want in the form, and Copilot can go and create the form for you. Yeah. So in this case, if the use case is, let's say, we are hiring various candidates on social media marketing related roles, and maybe we want to give them a small test as part of that selection process so we can filter out good candidates, whether they have good understanding of social media marketing, then I can say this prompt in Copilot here to say, okay, create a 10 multi-choice question to test somebody's knowledge of social media marketing. And then I just give it some context that I will use this test for hiring purposes. And then I can click on generate. And what Forms will use is then it'll use Microsoft Copilot and all the knowledge it has about social media marketing. And it'll go and create then those 10 questions with multi-choice answers. And then so in this case, you can see the 10 questions have been created. If you are happy with that, you can click on keep it. If you're not happy, you can click on this regenerate and it'll generate 10 new questions. And then you can do that until you are comfortable with the questions which are listed here. And then, of course, you can fine tune it further. So if you had a little bit more time, you can say that, okay, remove question 4 and replace with something else. So you can be very specific in your instructions. And once
So, does it also produce the answer key?
In this case, yeah, it's a form. But you can ask, you can request, yeah, it to
Yes.
create that. And then once you're happy with the questions, then you can click on keep it. And that's where it converts that output from Copilot into a form. So now
Oh,
this is a form where you can take the link and you can start sending this form to all the different candidates. So when they submit their responses, you can then look at those responses and then only invite candidates, who answered most number of questions. But that's one example of using Copilot on a form. But if you want to do a customer survey, you want to
mm-hmm.
create forms for whatever purpose, where you want to collect data from your internal stakeholders or external stakeholders, Copilot can now make it quicker, that you don't have to think about
Oh,
every
it's
question and
night and
every.
day. Night and day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Manoj, does this come with the typical Business 365 subscription?
it is part of, the Office 365. Yes.
Okay. Okay, good.
Subscription. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So this is where Microsoft is integrating Copilot in all its software. So Forms is just one of those. Like it's integrated in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. This is another software. But this capability has been around for some time. We just didn't get a chance to demonstrate it in the previous podcast. And I know a lot of small organizations, may want to do internal surveys, external surveys. So now,
But
and if
also, if you look at, because forms are the interface to the outside world, to the underlying stuff. So the other thing that comes to mind for me too, when I think about small to medium-sized businesses, is it's an intake form. So let's say that you've got a request for something. So internally, you can do it to where the IT department or some other department, you can create this form that people can then go and fill out what the request is and all that stuff going on. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's got a lot of possibilities, and what I
Yeah.
love is anyone who's built a survey, SurveyMonkey or anything else, and or used forms in Microsoft, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
huge.
and
Thank you.
do you know what model of OpenAI that this is based on? Is it 4.0 ChatGPT?
It says, 4.0, ChatGPT 4.0,
Okay.
in the background. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
so that's one very useful functionality. The second new feature, so this is definitely new. It only got added recently, where if you have a SharePoint, so this is a SharePoint of our team internally,
Mm-hmm.
where what you can also do now is create at the SharePoint level, you can create an agent. So in the Microsoft world now, they're calling everything as an agent. So they used to call it Copilot, but now the name has been changed to an agent. So in this case, I have selected the documents folder on my SharePoint.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do is you can create an agent for that particular folder. So all the files then you have in that folder, this agent will be aware of, and then it can answer any questions related to any file in this particular folder.
Right.
So it's a very quick way, because like if you're used to creating custom GPTs, then you have to bring those files out, and then there is limit on
Mm-hmm.
you have 20 files, you don't have all that limitation. So however many files you have here, you just click on create an agent, and you can just click on open agent, and the agent is ready, and it will know everything about all the folders. Or you can click on edit if you want to customize a little bit. Then you can edit, and then give it a name, give it an icon, and so on. So there are more extensions you can do. And in this case, it's picked up the AI reports folder. Okay, so let me then just close that. So if I just click on,
Okay, that's why it did it, because it
yeah,
had selected AI reports.
because I
Okay,
had, yeah,
I'm like,
I had
why
that
did it
selected.
name itself that?
Yeah, so here I can, if I click on create agent now, where I'm at the document level, so now
There you go. Okay.
it'll be
So,
for the whole of document. And then you can click on edit. So this is where you can give it a name, give it an
Okay.
icon,
So
and then
you could call him Charlie. Okay.
can
yes.
these agents, can they do anything? What actions do they have at their disposal? Is it right now just summary, or can they do any other actions?
So they can help you find files.
Yeah.
So you can say that, okay, go and find me policies related to
Uh-huh.
maternity leave or annual absence. So they're good for finding files, because it can then read the content of the file. And then, once you find a file, then you can use to interact with a particular file. But all of this is you're just creating a chat window on top of all the files on your SharePoint. Yeah, so on its own, the agent doesn't do any action. So there is a separate tool called Copilot Studio where you can have agents which can then go and execute certain
Do stuff.
actions.
I love the way your arms started moving and you're like, these agents don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see here,
It
there's the
doesn't.
option here with the
Oh yeah,
advanced
okay.
customization with Copilot Studio.
So does this functionality exist on OneDrive as well?
So this functionality exists. So you will need a Copilot license.
Right.
Yeah, so you still need
Okay,
Copilot
so it's not part of
365
Microsoft
license.
365 then. So you have to have Copilot in
You
addition of
still, yes, yes. So
okay.
you still
That
need,
was
yeah,
Steve's
Copilot.
question. If it
But
exists.
lately, they've been starting to bundle it in with the most recent plan. So what they've done, what I heard they did, and Manoj, you may know for sure, is
Mhm.
that they increased their prices by about 30%, right?
Mhm.
And then bundled Copilot into the newer plans.
That's I think, yeah, because Google has also done something similar where they're
Yeah,
giving Google Gemini to all the Google
Yeah.
business
yeah.
users. So yeah, that's the direction. I haven't heard about the official announcement, but especially with what we're going to talk about later with DeepSeek, it has shaken everybody. So the prices are expected to go down significantly in the coming weeks and months.
That's where us general population benefit when that stuff starts to happen, because if you've got the exclusive on it, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
plan.
this is where if I click on save here, then it'll go and create an agent, and then you'll be able to start interacting. Uh, so in this case, yeah, you can start interacting with that agent here. So you can start asking questions. And if I close that, then the agent is also available on the right hand side, where I can go and ask, find me all documents related to AI governance topics. And then it'll comb through all the documents in that folder on SharePoint, and it'll get you the documents.
I love the little comments that they'll make while things are hi, putting a recipe together, I'm baking, I'm looking for stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, see. So this is where, okay, it's getting, so
That's a
here you
lot.
can see it's got, yeah, 8 documents, and then each document, it gets you the link. So in case you want to then see a particular document, you can click on that, and it'll take you straight into that document. Okay, so that
It just takes search to a whole new level. I mean, it's like
it
night.
brings AI, yeah, in that search. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just based on the keywords. It can look at the
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
and based on the context, it can bring that information.
I'm curious. Would you can you just try something?
Sure.
I would love for it to retrieve the newest document. Can it, you know what I mean? Just like in
Uh,
that folder, what's the most recent updated document?
Sure, it can do that
I mean,
easily.
it sure, but it
Yeah.
should. I'm just curious because if you look at policies,
You-
all that stuff, if I think about uh, the old policies that haven't been touched or haven't been
Ge-
updated.
And generally, though, you the more specific you are, the better. For example, you could tell it the most recent creation date or the most recent update date, right? You could tell it different parts of, what exactly you want.
Yeah. I just think I just when I think about stuff, just expanding the usage, the application, if you will, for stuff like this, because it's just a pain sometimes. I think the biggest thing for me, Manoj, is that, well, it's knowledge management, right? So you've got a way to be able to search. And I think back to the improvement team that I was on, it's like, find me, improvement work that was done in PACU, in a PACU, right? The post-op units. And so, but to be able to, like, if it's sitting on top of this, whatever it is that you've got access to be able to search out and pull something like that back is powerful. Or like policies, find me the policies that have not been updated for the last year. So if you've
Yeah.
got a thing that you've got to update them so boom, we're going to retrieve stuff. I just think stuff like that is so powerful for people and not have to take the bandwidth of someone to go and research and retrieve it. So
Absolutely.
anyway, I love that.
Yeah. No. And this is why, yeah, we've been promoting Copilot in these podcast episodes, because right now this is the only AI tool which integrates with all the in-house security, works with all the Microsoft setup you have inside your organization.
Yeah.
With every other AI tool, you'll have to do a major configuration work for it to know about your files and your security.
Well, that's why I don't understand why Google is not doing this. Seriously. I mean, I'm actually surprised. So, yeah, cool
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
stuff. Cool stuff.
I think that they're probably working on it in as much as, you know, integration with Drive and all that. I mean, I've seen personally, because I do have Gemini and I've got Drive and I can use it to find files and stuff on my Google Drive. So there are things that they are doing, and I'm sure that they'll be doing a lot more. But you know, the fact of the matter is Microsoft has a lot more corporate uh, security and governance infrastructure, right? Between SharePoint, Active Directory, you know, this kind of infrastructure. So they've been playing in this for decades longer than Google.
Oh yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
You know, as far as corporate America, you know, Microsoft's definitely in there with smaller, you know, sole proprietor entrepreneur organizations. They may not have gone the Microsoft route. They may have gone, you know, how many people have Gmail? You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, interesting. I love it. Anything else on
So
this?
that's yep. So that's on the at the SharePoint level, and then just quickly, same functionality is also available at an individual file level. So you can also then, if there is a big PDF document and you want to chat to that PDF document, then they've added this option here. If I click, you can also then create an agent just on one file, and then it creates this new file type called .agent, and you can then start chatting with that agent. So then you're just chatting with that one file without going into Microsoft Copilot. You are, you know, you're still in SharePoint, and you can create an agent. You can start asking to say, okay, summarize the key topics, or okay, I have that prompt already up here, so I'll just select it from here. So now you are just interacting with that one document now.
I could
So
have done
you
that
can
on that 10-page thing that Steve sent.
Steve sent you, yeah.
Steve's
So
like,
you can create,
read this. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not reading that. I'm not doing that.
so
Good.
you can
Now
create an
I
agent
know how to
and
deal with you in the future.
Yeah, I
yeah,
just want the summary, and if the summary intrigues me, then I'll go a little bit deeper.
she'll come to you for details.
Yes, yes. I
Okay,
love
so
it.
that's on my side.
Okay, cool. I love
Okay.
it. Thank you. So, DeepSeek. I know, Steve, you know, you are passionately opinionated about it. It was interesting because it's like Nvidia. What I watch Nvidia, like, I'm not going to say tanked, but lost significant value when DeepSeek.
It is the biggest loss in US corporate history on a single
Yeah,
day.
yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it was crazy.
It's-
But I
yeah.
don't. I also am very cautious about what I throw out into the universe. Um, and so it had significant impact on the Nvidia stock, which I care about. It's personal. And so I had shared, Peter Diamandis had sent an email out just on his thing because he's all excited, you know, moonshot stuff, innovation, and like I've downloaded mine and I've got it and I'm using it. And I'm thought, I'm not you, dude, and I'm not doing that. So I'm very cautious. So I'm on the outside looking in on what's going on, and I think it's rattled on a number of levels because there were some assumptions that have been made about, you know, what you need to be able to bring something like this to market. And I think if what they're saying is true, that the cost is not billions of dollars, but 5 to 6 mil, that's an eye opener. Yeah. So
Well,
what are your thoughts, guys?
well, I think that number one, Mark Andreessen, who is the who's a general partner of Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the best known venture capital firms in really in the world. he said it well, is that it's really a gift to humanity. I actually don't look at it as a bad thing. They've open sourced it, which is good. And then they released a paper, which is really when they had actually, if we go back, they actually released it several weeks before, and no one really got up in arms about it when they did the release. But what happened was they released a technical paper describing how they built the model. And that technical paper, when people realized that that their cost to create it were orders of magnitude lower than the existing ones, then that's when the fears of the market crept in that, well, we won't need as many chips, Nvidia chips, for example, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, they're doing a service. Whether, there's a lot of other side effects, but it is a good thing. But still, personally, I don't want to use it until it's been thoroughly vetted, because there's two types of issues that could happen. Number one is the fact that I don't want to be communicating with any of their infrastructure in China. I don't want any of my data residing in China. But like you said,
Are you doing top secret stuff? You're doing top secret stuff.
of course,
Just
of
come
course.
clean.
I
Just
don't
come
want
clean.
I don't want my phone number. I don't want anything on any servers in China.
You and Michael, you're international spies. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. So, but all right. So, but then that's just one thing, because like Peter Diamandis and a lot of other people, they downloading the model, and when you download it, you don't face that risk. But still, until the model itself, right, has been vetted, and there are, for example, Goldman Sachs and Meta have literally assigned. Goldman Sachs has assigned its entire team. Meta has 3 teams that are looking deeply at the model. Let them vet it, and then I would be very interested to then I'll feel comfortable downloading it. But I'm never going to communicate with anything on any servers. And
So I am glad that we've gotten that off your chest.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I got this off my chest, actually.
Craig Minogue, what's on your mind?
Well, for me, the idea that it's open source brings the price down and access to a more global community, and that in itself brings AI to more people, and I think that's a good thing. From that white paper that Steve's talking about, it gives everyone a little different perspective on the approach of integrated learning and how these models can be advanced in the future. And whenever you can open someone's eyes, whether it's a competitor to the race for the top or not, it's a new perspective. And it's my understanding that that's going to help the AI in general. Okay, so it's going to improve things, maybe a little more open-minded on how we advance in the future. So even though I'm with Steve, I'm not ready to jump in and use it right now. I think in time it's going to it's going to advance the research, and that has to be a good thing.
Yeah, challenge the status quo. Yeah, even though the status quo is all about innovation and.
By the way, there's one thing that's interesting about this that has been talked about some, but really this firm that created it, right? They're actually not an AI firm. They're more than anything a quantitative research firm and they do trading, right? And so, right, financial trading. And so this is a kind of a side project, which makes it even more
it's a little hobby. It's a little hobby.
It's a little hobby.
Minogue, you're from the risk
No,
world.
but I did hear the CEO of that hedge fund. He is a Elon Musk type person, so he wants AI to be free and widely available, and he wants Chinese companies to be leaders in that space rather than US companies. So that was like one of the incentives, and at the moment, at least what we're recommending to our customers from a risk perspective is that stay away, that don't start using it straight away until there's a little bit more visibility. So especially like it became the #1 app on the App Store. You don't want to use that app because it's directly connecting to the mothership.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you don't know where your data is going. There were also some news that if you sign up using your Gmail account, that there is something in the terms and conditions where they can go and read all your Gmail. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's like there was another sort of risk factor we saw.
Mhm.
So the only closest safe way of using it is if there are organizations like Perplexity or Microsoft where they have downloaded the model, they've installed it on a server in the US, and then they're making it available, then that may be the only safe way right now to utilize the tool. But it's going to be a landmark moment because it has started this discussion that AI should be reachable from a price perspective, because we saw ChatGPT was $20 and they introduced a $200
Yeah.
version, and they were saying they're losing money on that. So there could be a more expensive version, but I think it's going to put a little bit of brakes on that, which is great news for our target audience, which is the small and medium businesses, because
Well,
if those API costs can become a lot more cheaper, we can then start using it a lot more widely. So it's
well,
definitely starting that trend.
Yes.
well, and it's interesting because you talk about the money and it's almost like shopping at Costco, right? You go into Costco and it's like, well, it's only $9.99, it's only $14.99, it's only whatever, and then you get up and it's like that'll be $600.
Yes.
And the same thing happens when you start stacking the costs of all these things. Well, this is 200 and this is just 37 and this is 59 and all of a sudden, you're at a price point of $800 a month and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So I think it's one of those things. I agree. And the other part for me is like you've got the larger, the Microsoft, the Perplexity, Peter Diamandis, all that stuff. There are redundancies that they have the luxury of having, or they've intentionally put in place that small to medium-sized businesses don't necessarily have, right? So if you're a medium-sized business, but you're still you're operating it as an operator and not an owner, right? You're working in that business. Odds are you haven't put those safeguards in place. And so there's more to risk. And so while I don't want people to be paranoid, if you were to lose your stuff, are you still okay? So I think that's the thing when I look at it, and I agree with you, Steve. It's like let's let the other people play in that space for a while. I had there was an email that came in about a comparison. They're going, yeah, it's free and everything, but from his opinion, ChatGPT was still the better quality output and results on things. And so that's part of it too. Are you going to go to Walmart and buy the $5 blouse that maybe you wash a couple times and it shreds on you? Or are you going to go spend the extra money and get something that's going to last you for 20 years? So I think that's part of the consideration too.
Yeah, and the other part of the consideration is what problem are you trying to solve with it, right? Because there's these two types of models, right? Fundamentally, at a very high level, there's the regular models, which the regular models, what they do is they look at patterns and they make predictions, right? That's like 4.0, ChatGPT 4, 4.0. But then these newer models like O1, O3 Mini, O3, and including this DeepSeek, this new DeepSeek model, they are chain of thought models. And so what they do is they go through a thinking process and they actually spell out generally, at least at a high level, what their problem solving process is. And so they start there and then they go down into the details. So there is a fundamental difference. And
Thank
generally
you.
those models are better for like math, coding and things like that. So
Okay.
again, it goes back. What is the
So
problem
Steve,
you're trying to
you've
solve?
taken me down a path that I just don't care about.
Well, but yes, if you're trying to solve some problems, there are some problems that it really matters.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm like, wow, I so appreciate that you love to geek out on stuff, but I'm thinking, I don't want this information in my brain. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you. So more to come on this. And I think the high level thing is it's the mode of 2025 and beyond is just rapid change. So just be ready for it, embrace it, be excited about it, and try not to be too afraid of it. So I'm going to switch over just super quick and we'll go to Opus Clip and just walk through some stuff just to see it. There's a free version. I did pay so I could, because I played with it first and then I committed to it. So I did pay. So I've got, you know, more credits and stuff, but there is a free version that you can do stuff if you don't do it that much. So play with it. So this one's super easy. So literally up here you can see there's a clip basic and a clip anything. Clip anything, you can literally go in and look for a chunk that you want to do. Hey, when I'm talking about such and such, someone knows like you were doing with Copilot, find this. You can do that and create a clip on that. I just have it go in and just do what it wants. So you upload the file. It takes a couple minutes to upload, and then you go and generate. So then you click, you know, you've got your defaults of what you want and click generate. So these are ones that I've generated. So we can go in here, and when it does, you can see here, it creates all these shorts. I mean, like 20 of them, right? 15 to 20 of them. I don't use all of them. What it will do is you can see a scoring here on the left. It's like 99 out of 100 and tells you why, and 97. And so I will go into these and I'll go edit. So you've got all this functionality that you can do. I don't publish directly to social media. Through here, through this platform, I do it a different way. But this other functionality is available in there. So I'm going to go into edit clip, and this is how easy it is. So on the left here, you've got text, transitions, voiceover, all the options that you have that you can do. You can also upload. Lately, I've really enjoyed doing B-roll on stuff. And I think part of it is that within Opus Clip, they don't have great emojis. And that there's not a lot of options with transitions, right? And there's just this. And I'm comparing it to CapCut. So CapCut has a lot of emoji options. This one doesn't necessarily. But I've loved B-roll lately. And so you've got some options. You can have their system generate it, auto-generate B-roll in certain places based on stock images, or it can do it AI generated images. Or what I love to do is I'll just upload my own stuff. So I'll go create, I'll go upload, and it's literally as easy. Let's say there's I'm just going to make stuff up. So you have to reset. So here on the timeline, I want to add this. So I'm going to click on that image and I'm just going to add it to timeline. And so literally when it's talking, and I can shrink this down, you know, as how long I want it, but I can easily add those things that come up when the voice does. And it helps get people's attention too. Like if I had something that said I was sleeping, I just love this little cat here. So look, the little kitty. So you can do these different things within it, which is cool. What I also love is like this. There's not a lot being said here. There's obviously stuff beforehand. So let's say, you know what? This ended too soon and I actually wanted or take a look at this next section because it was kind of out of context. I can look to that section and go, do I want to add some of this stuff here? And I can literally add it and go back. The other thing that I just want to say really quick is the layouts can change. So right now it's split scene. I can fill it to where it'll just be on the speaker, fit it to where they're side by side, like a normal view that you may see. So there's different ways that you can set this up. So if you have several people that it can do that way, there's just a lot of options. I think the biggest thing for me is it produces these things after you upload it. It probably 30 to 40 minute podcasts. It might take 20 to 25 minutes to create all these shorts that then I've got the launch pad to be able to do stuff. I save changes and then I can download the file and do what I want with it. Or like I said, you can post right to social media. Questions, comments, guys?
Yeah, no, I think this can save so much time for small, medium organizations on creating social media videos, right? Because creating those videos, it's what takes a lot of time, and
Yeah.
you can then create a longer version of discussion on various topics, and then use this tool to create the shorter ones.
Yeah. The other thing that you can do, CapCut does it too. This one I like because it takes the longer and it can parse it out. CapCut's another tool that you can go and do your own little video and upload it and easily add B-roll, add, different templates that you want, the emojis, the different text that maybe balloons up and goes along. What I will say I've noticed is the conversion of voice to text so that you've got the text on there on the video. Opus Clip is better and more accurate at it than CapCut. I do not know why, but I have noticed I have less edits that I have to make on the words in Opus Clip than what I do on CapCut. So I recommend it. I've been playing with it. It's got its things that it's not amazing at, but the time, literally the time that it saves me, it's like light years difference. So that would be it. Thank you guys. It's been great catching up. So any last thoughts before we say goodbye?
I'm looking forward to getting OpenAI deep research, and
Okay.
I'll
I'm so
have it.
excited.
Hopefully, I'll hopefully have it by the time that we have our next episode.
Okay. So you're not going to wait for Christmas for Santa to bring it to you.
You know, Christmas should cut. Christmas comes multiple times a year.
Okay. All right. Every day is Christmas. Okay. Okay. It's kind of like shopping at Amazon.
Yes.
Anything else? Manoj, Greg?
Yeah, no, nothing on my side.
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing good. All right. Well, I appreciate the time in the room with you guys, and hopefully Michael's going to be able to join us from his many adventures the next time. So this has been AI Because, and please like, share, subscribe, and have a freaking awesome day. Thank you.
Now.
Bye.
Astronomy's listen, we'll show you how. A new wave rising, it's clear and loud. AI's the future, let's make you proud. Data and dreams combine in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI Because, we're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods. Ooh.